Hi all. Imagine you are working in an enterprise level application for the real life use case, and you have set up APIs in your projects, and some of our code, your code developer want to use those API. So they should know about the response payload, request payloads, the endpoints. So one way to share those details with your developer is that you can create an contact or the documentation, and you can update all the things to the doc, and you can share the doc to the other developers. But there is a one issue will be there. But, even for example, after some days there is an update on your API. So you again need to go to the doc, and again you need to update the details and inform them. So there will be a latency or there will be a sync issue uh, will be there. So here the Swagger is one of the tools which will be reduce all those dependency, and you can easily share those API with the help of this Swagger UI. So in this video we'll be covering the documenting REST API using Swagger in the Spring Boot 3, and we will be using Spring Boot 3.3.4, Java 17, MySQL, Postman, IntelliJ IDEA. So what we will cover, we will create a simple applications, and I will hit the API to explain this concept. I will cover what is Swagger and its use case in real life applications. I will create a Spring Boot project using Spring Initializer. Then there should be a REST endpoint, right? So for that I will be using employee service, and I will do the CRUD operation. Then we will verify those endpoints using the Postman clients. Then later on I will add the SpringDoc OpenAPI dependency for using the Swagger UI. And lastly, I will show that JSON format, how it looks, the APIs, and then we'll access the UI, and we'll do some operation using that Swagger UI. So please subscribe to the channel, and if you get any feedback, you can provide on the comment section. So let's get started with the video. So now what is actually Swagger means? So Swagger, it is a set of tools that helps the developer to create, edit, and use API documentation. So I will go to this Spring Initializer, and I will create the project. So before that, I'll go to this. I'll create those 5 endpoints slash employees to get the details of all the employee, to update the details of the employee, post to add the details of an employee, get to details of an employee by employee ID, and to delete an employee. And this employee entity will be having ID, first name, and last name. So I will go to this initializer, and I will just add few of the dependency. So first I will use Java 3.3.4 as a Spring Boot version. Group ID I will write it as the deep developer, and Swagger, Swagger, and use case of Swagger, and I will use packaging as jar and Java as 17. The dependency is required is Spring Web to make the RESTful API. Then JPA to connect with the persistent database. We will be using MySQL here, and for MySQL connection, we'll use MySQL driver. Then we'll use Lom Lombok for library to reduce boilerplate code. Then I will generate this project, and I will open in IntelliJ. So the Swagger project is imported. I will go to this pom.xml file, and I will right click, and I will add as Maven project. So it will import all the dependencies to the local system. So all the dependency are being imported properly. I will go to this source main Java. This is the application files. So I will go to this application properties, because this application need to connect with MySQL database. So there will be set of properties I need to add. So I will add those. The properties I have added. This is for the database connection with my DB name root. password, and this is the driver, this is the data definition layer, and to show the SQL query in the console, this is the code. So now I need to create the controller class. Before creating the controller, I need to create a entity class with the employee ID, first name, and I will create that. So I have created the entity class with employee getter setter to create with the setter annotation for all argument constructor, no argument constructor, with ID as ID and name, first name, and last name, other two parameter. Then I will create a what is that repository classes for that. Let me create that. So I have created the repository interface and extending the list CRUD repository with employee as a entity and integer data type for the ID. Then I will create a controller class for this. I have created a controller with name as employee controller, and the base path will be as slash employee, and the rest controller. Auto add that employee repository. I have created one get mapping to get all the employee. So this find by ID, find by all, this is coming all from the list CRUD repository. You can check that. And the get mapping to get employee details by employee ID. So it will throw an exception if the employee ID not found. That post mapping, it will add an records to the employee. It will get an uh, employee from the JSON, and it will save the record. Put to update, and the delete, it will delete the employee from the database. So I will quickly run the applications, and I need to test those, because we are in this phase, right? We have already created the CRUD operation. Now we need to verify the endpoint, and then we will add the SpringDoc OpenAPI dependency to get access of the Swagger IUI. Let's run the application, and I will hit those API. It will take a few times to run the application. So application is built successfully, and it was also started fine with 88 report. So if you are still watching the video, I will request you please subscribe to the channel, and if you have any question, you can ask me on the comment section. So so before running this application, I will suggest you to make your MySQL app. So I will check that whether employee table is created or not. Employee table is created, and if I check that there is no data as of now on the employee table. So I will quickly go to this Postman, and whatever the API we have endpoint we have created. So I will hit one by one, and I will test whether everything is working fine or not. So I will go to this. I will first add a record. Just a minute. To add a record, what is the API? So post. Yeah, post. There is the slash employee. The employee slash employee the base, and the slash employee. So I will go to this Postman. So I'll just I'll hit this. Send first name you can put, and last name you can put. So it will added a record, and it is inserted in the DB. I will show that also. I'll add one more record. So I have added the two record. So I'll go to this MySQL, check whether the two records are being added or not. So one record is added. Second record is also added. First name Deep, last name Mandal, and on the second case Subhoy, and last name is Mandal. So I will verify the other endpoints also. So I will get a record so with employee 2. So it should be written the details of the employee 2. It is fine. So this is the API to get all the details of the employee. So slash employee. So I will hit that. Yeah, details are coming fine. So I will delete one of the employee. So to do that, this slash employee slash one, and it is the delete method. So I will click on the send. Delete one is also working fine. So I will update. This is the update method, or the put method. So I will update this with Subhadeep Mandal. So this is also fine. So only one record will be present on this. So yeah, on record is present. So this API is working fine. Now what is our next task? Next task is to add the dependency to access the Swagger UI. So what are the dependencies? This is Spring OpenAI dependency. So I will add the dependency. For that, I will go to Maven repository. So it is the repository where all the dependency you can get from here. So you can search it as Spring.OpenAI starter WebMVC UI. So I will quickly copy this dependency. I will stop this application and go to this pom.xml file. Then I will put it below to Spring Boot starter web. Then I will reload this pom.xml file. To reload this, you need to do the right click, or you can quickly there is a one Maven icon is there na? So you can quickly refresh this. So I will refresh this only, or else you can do the right click and go to this Maven, and you can click on reload disk. So it is imported properly. So I will rerun the application. Then I will open the Swagger UI. So the application is started successfully. So I will access the Swagger UI. Before that, accessing the Swagger UI, I will show you the endpoints in the JSON format. So to access that, you need to do localhost with your port and v3/api doc. So I will open that, paste that v3/api/doc. So here you will see all your APIs in the form of JSON, and also you will get all the endpoints name and the schema. You see that path is employee with the get, find all the employee details. So it will return as a type as array. So if we see that add employee, the schema is from the schema slash employees. So if you get all the details, the response and the parameter, what are the parameter required, and if you go to the schema, this is the employee. This type will also there in integer, string. So it is the API details in the JSON format. So in the UI format, if you want to check on the UI dashboard, so you can access with localhost 8080 slash swagger UI index.html. So I will go to this next tab, and you see there's all the details with your application and the controller type, employee, whatever the API it is mentioned here, and the schema is mentioned for the employee. We have ID, first name, last name, and those type of details. So I will hit one of the API to show you how the response is coming. So here I will click on try it now and click on execute. So in response you will get all the details. So I was explaining the schema to the ID, first name, last name is there. So it is the basic structure provided by the Swagger. And if you want to configure the details like what are the mandatory field, and someone maybe not aware about what this put actually means which of the field you want to update. So you can give an description of this API, and for the schema which is mandatory and which is not null. And so those type of configuration, to do those type of configuration, you can watch my next video, that is the related video of this video. So on there I will be covering the adding Swagger API description, bean validation, tag annotation, operation, API responses. So all these things I will be covering on that next video. So please watch that video. So thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel to get the videos on Spring Boot microservices, REST API. Thank you.